Hi, good morning to you, Jay. Well, you're absolutely right about that. On one side of the building right here, we have so many members of the media, and that's why we had to move to this side. You mentioned it being kind of like a circus. It's because there's so many people here who are really intensely involved in this process and curious as well, even people who've been walking along wondering when will things happen today. So let's talk about what we can expect for today. The former president is expected to leave his home in New Jersey and travel here to Washington, D.C. for his initial court appearance. And during that initial court appearance, right in this building behind me, it's anticipated that he will be arraigned. An arraignment is where someone enters a plea of guilty or not guilty. And once that process is all said and done, once it's underway, it could be pretty quick, but it's all about the buildup and what happens in the hours and even the days ahead of this. Remember, this has been a much shorter process here because the indictment was released on Tuesday, and there was just a one-day period between today for the initial court appearance. And so officials had to be very cautious about all of the security measures that are being taken. So between last night and this morning, we've seen barriers erected all the way around the building. We got a heads up about that being a possibility yesterday when Department of Homeland Security agents came and told us that that would be the case. And now we see the barriers all the way around the building. And of course, this will be an effort between many different organizations, local and federal agencies. So, for example, the local police department here in Washington, D.C., the Metropolitan Police Department, they could be involved here, kind of all hands on deck situation. But then you have those federal agencies. I mentioned the Department of Homeland Security. We have U.S. Capitol Police, we have Secret Service, we have U.S. Marshals. That is what's on the tape of the barrier, saying no one beyond this point. And also keep in mind about where we are. This particular courthouse is right in between the White House, which is a few blocks in that direction, and about a block and a half in this direction is the U.S. Capitol. So this is an area that is very used to these security procedures and protocol, but they can't take anything for granted because the reason why we're here today is because of January 6th. So of course there is heightened security because a high-profile figure will be coming here, possibly to be arraigned today.
Yeah, security was definitely top of mind there, and it was also the case in Miami, where we were, and also in New York City for the classified documents case and also the hush money case. A lot of legal woes surrounding the president, and when we were there in both of those locations, you saw a lot of impassioned responses from both Trump supporters and Trump critics. What are you hearing from them as we prepare for this arraignment in Washington, D.C.?
It is very interesting because now we're hearing from Trump officials who are saying that this was his First Amendment right to speak up on January 6th. So that is an argument that is now emerging. You're hearing attorneys start to echo that, but then you're also hearing people say that he was not supposed to do that. Free speech is one thing, but it's all about the actions that were taken after that, allegedly. And some of these people who are now becoming critical are people who have been in his inner circle. For example, the former Attorney General of the United States, Bill Barr, he spoke about this very issue last night. We want for you to take a listen to that.
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure, but I have come to believe that he knew well that he had lost the election. And now, what I think is important is the government has assumed the burden of proving that. The government, in their indictment, takes the position that he had actual knowledge that he had lost the election and the election wasn't stolen through fraud. And they're going to have to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt.
All right, so the former president is expected to be here sometime before this 4 p.m. court appearance in Miami. He showed up earlier, so that's what's expected for today. Of course, you can also expect a lot of traffic implications in this area. Alex and James.
Political correspondent Avidre Burnett outside the courthouse in D.C. Thank you so much.